I was not a fan of Charlie Kirk. I knew the old Charlie Kirk. And now when I've said these opinions before, it's riled up people, and I don't care. But I'm trying to be respectful here. He went to Wheeling High School. I went to John Hersey High School. Buffalo Grove High School was more of the rival of Hersey High School, but Wheeling was a rival, but we kind of got along with kids from Wheeling. Yeah, you would party with them. Yeah, you do your thing. BG versus Hersey, those games were big time. Wheeling versus Hersey was a lot more peaceful. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that I used to see Charlie Kirk a lot. I saw him at the football games. Nicest kid ever. Would have never thought he would become what he became and what he is. He was the absolute sweetest, kindest. In some ways, he would almost defend me from being made fun of, because when kids would talk smack, he wouldn't reply. Like, he was a respectful kid. Now, before we start talking about sad stuff, I have a funny Charlie Kirk story. I'm all over the place today. But this talks about how conservative and how good of a person Charlie Kirk was, even though I despised his politics and everything he talked about, and I disagreed with him 100%. I like Charlie Kirk in the 2010s a little better, the high school version of him, but I was always deep down proud of him, even though the things he said about trans people and whatnot made me mad. But there was one time, this is all alleged, we were driving around, me and my 3 Serbian friends, and I was pretty lit, man. I drank at this party. Wow, Ryan Hoppe, drunk? No way. It's not like he got fired for that. What I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is I was in the backseat of the car in the middle, and my friend was driving, and he was the DD, had not driven at all, had not drank at all. He was the DD. Everybody else in the car was drunk. There were 3 other people, and there was a spot for one more person. And the person in the front goes, why don't we go pick up Charlie Kirk? So we go to Charlie Kirk's nice house, and we pick him up. And we start smoking a doobie in the said car, allegedly. And it's getting passed around, so it's beginning at the passenger seat in the front, maybe to the driver, maybe to the person to the left, then to me in the middle. And I've told this story many times, but I go to give Charlie Kirk the blunt, and he holds it like first of all, like I gave him a bomb. Like, he didn't know what to do with it. It was so adorable. And he grabbed the blunt and he put it to the side of his mouth and pretended to take a hit and went. It was so endearing. He pulled a Bill Clinton in London, not wanting to smoke weed. And now, to me, that story tells how kind-hearted and genuine, and he was a good debater. Like, he was the best debater in all of Illinois. If you were going up against Charlie Kirk, you were screwed. You had no shot. But this is where I've been planning this speech in my head. I a lot of times when things like this happen, I think when I'm driving around, I kind of practice in my head what I'm going to say. And this segment has been all over the place. But I'm all over the place because it's 9/11 and that day affected me, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But the division in this country, man, the amount of people. Listen, I thought Charlie Kirk's politics were despicable. He made me physically angry. I had him blocked on Twitter because in some ways he doesn't need my approval. I never did. But he kind of let me down because I don't really believe he thought what he was saying. I worked for the conservative radio station that aired him in Tampa, and they told me that when he was working at Turning Point, they told him what to say. I'm not saying those weren't his thoughts, but it's kind of like the show Call Her Daddy or Howard Stern. A lot of it was scripted. A lot of it was you are trained to believe what you think. You are trained when you're told over and over something, you become angry. I worked for the company that Charlie Kirk worked for, and I made great money. But my God, was I a dick to people? And I'm not saying Charlie Kirk was a dick. But when you're around that angry political climate all the time, you become so bitter and angry. And a lot of times, I would see Charlie Kirk on TV getting all mad, and I'm like, buddy, you were so fun at the football games or at the basketball games. And I've had people tweet me before, oh, well, that was high school. That was different. But I knew Charlie. Everybody in my hometown, everybody on Instagram, we all knew, I saw it last night, we all knew him. He was the nicest kid. I think what it was when he was, I think he campaigned for Romney, or he at least helped promote Romney when he ran in 2012. He did Turning Point USA. He spoke at the RNC in 2016, blah, blah, blah. He surrounded himself with boomers. And boomers are very angry. He essentially was a 31-year-old boomer. He was not a millennial in any sort of way. There was not one bit of him that you could bring him to a nightclub. Maybe in 2011, if we had fake IDs. I'm just kidding. But in 2025, he's not partying. He had a beautiful wife and kids. And that's what makes me sick as well, is the fact that, and this is where I've really been thinking about how I wanted to say this, but we need to address death equally. And this goes to you, Donald Trump. It is amazing that you did a press conference in the Oval Office for Charlie Kirk. I do believe he deserved it. That's great that you're giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, or whatever the award's called. But Trump, you also didn't do any of this for the lawmakers in Minneapolis, or really for any school shootings that has ever happened while you've been president. And I'm not trying to go down that road, but I think we as a country need to come together and treat death equally. Are you a purple-haired liberal and you get shot? We should be sad for you. Are you Charlie Kirk? We are sad for him. It needs to be equal. Because the problem is, then we see the separation online. I saw these freaking mutants on my Facebook, these listeners of mine, that were like, oh, well, he deserved it. He had it coming. He did say some pretty repulsive things. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like Charlie Kirk's work. But I was always rooting for him because he was the hometown kid. You know, like when I think it's how some people view me, but slider mark, but like, they're like, yeah, he's doing his thing. I don't agree with him. I don't know. I just don't like where things are at. I'm really concerned. Because the whole point of America is that you should be allowed to say whatever you want, when you want. And then he gets shot. And then I just watched the video. Freaking, I love using TMZ for my show, but I love how on their front page, they're like, graphic violence, here we go. And I clicked on it, and seeing him get shot, you're just like, it's really weird. Like, a part of you dies. I'm not making this about me, I promise. I'm just saying, like, someone I grew up with is a worldwide icon that got shot. It's a mind F. I don't know. I just don't like where things are going, man. And I've always tried to be positive. I've always tried to be, hey, it's not that bad. Hey, it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm looking at this picture on my Twitter at Ryan Hoppe Radio that I retweeted of him, his beautiful wife. I could have said worse words. And his kids, his sexy wife. And I'm looking at the family picture, and that's never going to exist. He's gone. All right. This is on a lighter note a little bit. I was listening to the radio station that airs Charlie Kirk in Tampa. I used to work there. I board up there. And I'm just going to say it. I was listening to the Bill Bunkley show. Bill's a good guy, but they have like 4 1-minute commercial breaks throughout the whole hour. And what I learned from Kelta, I tried to tell the people at 620 WDAE this as well in the morning when they wanted to improve the ratings. They said, what does Kelta do that makes them number one? What does Drew Garabo do that makes them number one? And I said, well, they moved the commercial breaks. Like, Kelta will have 18-minute commercial breaks, but talk for 90 minutes, and the whole city of Tampa is listening. Same with Drew Garabo. And a lot of times, I think it's very important. You don't always need to go to commercial break. Like, if you listen to Imus in the morning, if you listen to his legendary morning show, if you listen to the 9/11 broadcast, he goes to a commercial break right before the second tower hit. Imus in the morning. I mean, trust me, I love me some Don Imus, but Imus in the morning went to commercial break when he shouldn't have. Yesterday, I'm listening to Bill Bunkley's show, and there's some caller who's a huge Charlie fan who's freaking out. Guy sounding probably like a 37-year-old Hispanic guy kind of vibe. And Bill's like, like interrupting the caller. We got to go to break. I'm like, bro, this is why radio's struggling. Was it really necessary to play that window washing commercial? You had me listening, and I pretended to be religious to make money at that company. But you had me listening as a listener, driving to the Kava Bar, driving to Southeast Botanicals at 1661 West Bay Drive. I was like, hey, let me hear what my old station has to say. And you go to a commercial break. You guys literally had a 1.5 minute commercial breaks. You could literally quadruple it up and have 1 5-minute commercial break. Oh my God. I think the sponsor would go, yeah, the superstar Charlie Kirk, because this is before he died, but he wasn't doing well. It was like probably 350, 355. I remember exactly where I was driving. It was in Pinellas Park. Unfortunately, I'm just kidding. Why would you go to break? That is why podcasting is crushing radio. Unless you're a radio show like MJ in the Morning, MJ Morning Show, the Mike Calta Show in Tampa, Drew Garabo Live, Orlando, QIK. The shows that will talk for a longer period of time because they know people are listening. Time to go to break. You got to get that commercial in. Come on. What are we doing? Has radio lost its mind? I think that's the least of our problems today, but I just thought that was kind of funny. Oh, we got to go to break. Why? Why do you have to go to break? I'll say a prayer for your ratings. I'm just kidding. You guys don't sign up for ratings because then it would be bad.
It's time for Hoppe's Inbox, only on Hoppe Hour with Ryan Hoppe.
We got a lot of comments here. First one. Willow Rose. I'm sorry for what happened. I enjoyed how Charlie Kirk gave people a platform to be heard. John says, I hope they find the piece of shit who took him away from his wife and kids. Danielle said, I feel for his wife and children. However, Charlie was not loved and admired by all. His ideology wasn't my cup of tea, but political violence on each side is unacceptable. Which I thought was perfectly said. Gary Spears says, he said that someone should bail the attacker of Paul Pelosi out of jail after the hammer. Oh, fuck off, Gary Spears. Fucking out of touch. You freaking unemployed radio hack. Never said he was my friend. It says on his Facebook, Gary Spears, retirement's like winning the lottery. No, you're retired because no one else wants to have your shitty radio show. F off. I'm Gary Spears. Remember that DJ? Gary Spears? It was so good, you know? You know how he just was totally so good at radio? What the fuck's wrong with you? I never said he's my friend. Oh, here's the Reverend Gary Spears. Gary Spears. Yeah. 104.3 hits.
From the greatest city in the world.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm unemployed and writing hateful things about dead people.
JMK and HD1.
Yeah.
Chicago's greatest hits.
Oh, screw off. We're going to watch me comment this in real time. What is wrong with you? I never said I agreed with any of his politics or, I'm very mad, what he said. Go away and enjoy retirement or whatever you are doing. Listen, I didn't always like what Charlie said, but if you're grateful that someone's dead, screw off. You're a hack.